The biggest change you would say that's happened is the geometry of the bikes.
Absolutely one of the best things is the rider position on the bike.
Okay.
We're not such a long cockpit. The front ends are taller, right? And suspension and tires. I mean, let's take something as simple as tires and say, we now have real tires on mountain bikes.
Lube your chain and pump up those tires. It's time for Aging on Dirt, where we defy expectations one pedal stroke at a time. We age, but we don't have to get old, and we all want to experience the joy of mountain biking as long as possible. Are you starting to ride at an unreasonable age, getting back into it after a long layoff, or just wanting to extend how long you'll be riding? Then you're in the right place. And now, your host, Joel Zieve.
Today's guest is Matt Howard, the owner of the Bike Shoppe in South Ogden, Utah. I've run into a lot of aging riders lately who've been getting back into the sport after 5, 10, even 20 years out of it. When careers and family take a higher priority, sometimes we have to step back and then jump back in later. So I said to Matt, hey, when someone walks into your shop in this situation and they want to learn about all the recent changes with mountain bikes, from geometry to tech and more over the last whatever number of years, what do you teach them about? Where do you start? And that's the exact scenario we're going to cover in today's podcast. But I got much more from Matt during the interview. He's been with the Bike Shoppe since his dad started it when Matt was 4 years old. He's almost 52 now. Matt had so many great stories about growing up, working with his dad in the shop, and his pure love for the sport, the bikes, and the people that he deals with on a daily basis. So I wanted to capture part of that. So you're going to be getting a little bit of that as a bonus of part of the show today. His passion comes through clearly in this interview, as you're going to hear, and it's also evident in how he supports local trails, high school mountain bike teams, and other local events. He gives generously financially and with his and his staff's time by volunteering at many of these local events too. So let's get started with Matt Howard. You own the Bike Shoppe?
Yes. So I owned the Bike Shoppe for a long time. I started owning it, buying my dad out, or became a majority owner, I guess, maybe from 20-something years ago. I've been here since day one. And I have.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
I have. I mean, I started as a little kid. As kids, we learned how to build things from the simple bike displays with the little wheels that held the bikes out on our floor.
Okay.
To the tricycles, and then the simple BMX bikes. And I think by 12, we determined that John and I had built over 1,000 BMX bikes. I really like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoy working with people. I like bikes. So I've had a lot of years doing it. Doesn't mean I'm good at it.
I think you're good at it.
But I do love it, and I keep trying at it, to get better. But anyway, so I doubly appreciate people like you promoting, so that's fun stuff.
Well, you take care of your people, clearly. So do you mountain bike?
Yes. Mountain, road, gravel.
Okay.
Still dabble in some BMX here and there.
Oh, cool.
I've had fun over the years. When you asked me gave me the scenario of what we could talk about the biker that's been out of it for 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. I loved it. I loved your scenario because it is what I see so often, right? This, Joel, this is easy. This is what I love talking to people about every day, because when they come in and say, I'm thinking about buying a mountain bike and I haven't bought one for 15 years, or I haven't really been into it for 15, 20 years, but I want to get. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Educate me.
Get ready.
Fire hose.
And don't mistake my enthusiasm for sales pitch. Like, I'm not just trying to slam you with sales stuff. I'm trying to share the enthusiasm I have for the changes that have made it better.
Big picture. What do you start with to give me an idea of what's actually changed and what do I need to learn about?
Right. So, and I think this is probably particularly of interest to you as a coach, but just the entire positioning of the person on the bike is different.
Oh, sure.
So different. And especially the further back we go. But those, earlier mountain bikes, and even just 15 years ago, they had us so low and so stretched out. And the typical comment in bike shops was, as somebody was getting a mountain bike, was the instruction we gave then. Well, if you're going to go down a steep hill, just stretch way back, like lose all control of the bike.
Right.
And put your chest on that saddle, and lay off the back of the bike. And you would still hear the stories of people coming in saying, I'm still going over my handlebars all the time. And because there was no centered weight over the wheels. There was no centering of weight for good braking.
Right.
There was no, all these things. And you just go, wow, that has changed so much.
Well, and it's funny, as to this day, I still hear people, husbands coaching their wives or friends coaching their friends, and the same thing. Okay, we're going to start this downhill. Get your butt as far back on that bike as you can. And I'm like, should I say something or not?
Yeah.
Because this guy's going to hurt himself.
Yes.
The biggest change you would say that's happened is the geometry of the bikes.
Absolutely. One of the best things is the rider position on the bike.
Okay.
We're not such a long cockpit. The front ends are taller, right? And suspension and tires. I mean, let's take something as simple as tires and say, we now have real tires on mountain bikes. For so long, the focus was lightweight,
okay,
fast rolling. Let's, and I think some of that comes from road bikes. And let's take some of those things and apply them to mountain bikes. And now we're saying, no, it's not even nearly the same thing. So, it makes sense that we wouldn't. And tires are bigger, meatier. They're better for off-road conditions and that position. And then I still get excited, even though they've been out for a while now, about dropper post.
Sure.
Just to be able to lower your center of gravity, stay balanced on the bike.
Yeah, get that thing out of the way.
Get knees bent more, get that saddle out of the way, lower your center of gravity, and now go down a steep hill and go, my gosh, not only did it not seem that steep, but I felt solid.
Right.
I felt in control. And
it's funny when you're balanced and in the right position in the bike, how much more control you're
right.
Yeah.
And it's just a much better experience, of course. I'm not that great of a technical rider. I don't have natural ability in that. But just the advent of all these improvements have made me, in my 50s, a better rider.
Oh, sure.
I'll ride with people that I haven't ridden with for years, Joel, and they'll be like, so when did you get so good at downhilling? And I'll be like, well, I'm not good. I'm not good. You're mistaken. No, you're much better than you were before. So I don't know, even though I have invested in what you do, and I think it's awesome. Coaching, learning how to ride. Those things help a ton, but the bike has evolved to a spot that it aids even the people that are not naturally brave or ripping down a technical section of trail, or not naturally talented, but we can put that dropper post down with that bigger front end, better tires,
right,
more suspension, and go, I can't believe I just rode. It was so fun. The spine at Wasatch Crest, or on the whole enchilada, some of the bigger stuff there I'm doing now that I didn't do just 10 years ago. I'm certainly not getting braver.
Sure.
In fact, with my back surgery 5 months ago, I would say in the last 5 years, especially because of those pains, I've been more cautious.
Mm-hmm.
I've been more aware of, I don't want to break something
Right.
on me.
Well,
I don't want to break anything on my bike either.
right. Well, I think most of us, as we age, get more conservative anyway, just because we know that if we get hurt, it's gonna be a longer recovery and probably hurt more.
Right.
We don't bounce like we used to.
Yes, and for some reason we start to mature a little and go, I can't really afford to be out for 6 months.
Yeah, that too. What came first? Trails getting more technical, or bike's ability to handle that technicality of the trails?
Well, I don't honestly know which came first. In some scenarios, I think you've always had your people that have wanted bigger, gnarlier, more technical trails, bigger features and such, and so maybe part of that was a response from the bike industry to say, hey, we're not keeping up with the growth of this sport. I mean, an extreme would be Red Bull Rampage, right?
Oh yeah,
Right here in our own backyard, right in Virgin, and some of that stuff. And I've been down there and I've seen, King Kong, some of these rides in those areas, and I'm like, okay, I'm never trying that.
Right.
I have no business being on those trails. But as the bikes have evolved, the wider handlebars, Joel, and now we have these bars that are big, and some feel like, wow, they're too big. They look so big.
Mm-hmm.
So stable.
Yeah.
It translates into your mind, and I mean that stability is like, I can do this.
Right.
This isn't a crazy descent. Just that alone is amazing.
So what else? You mentioned brakes.
Yeah. So disc brakes are so much better. So much more power and easy to modulate.
Sure. Get the exact amount of power and braking that you want out of.
To pull for all you've got on the brake levers. I mean, I don't know how long you've been doing it, but up in your neck of the woods, Skyline, to Lewis Peak has existed for many years.
Sure.
And I remember doing that ride, descending from Lewis Peak on V-brake bikes, or even before that, cantilevers.
Oh, jeez.
And pulling as hard as I could and feeling in my mind that I am not under control.
Yeah.
And now it's one finger and you don't even think about it anymore.
Right. You're just stopping.
Yeah. And you just have that control, and you don't, it's not such an ordeal. So.
And for a lot of new people, either to the disc brakes or even to the sport, they're not used to that power.
Right.
And if they don't have the right position when they're braking to brace themselves, they're going over the bars.
Yes.
So I see that a lot with the coaching, and have to reprogram them to teach them how to brake correctly so that doesn't happen. So we talked geometry, dropper post, brakes, bars, tires. How about drivetrain? Any changes with that?
Sure. Especially for technical riding.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
technical uphill, downhill.
Both. And this is two parts. Part of it is geometry. I mean, back in the day, I'm not saying there wasn't discussion or forethought about it, but bottom brackets were much higher. And maybe the forethought, Joel, was, hey, if we're taking these bikes off-road, we need to get the cranks up.
Get clarity.
These rocks.
Right.
And too high of a bottom bracket isn't super stable, especially descending fast and trying to take a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Switchbacks and hairpin turns, and especially at speed. And they've lowered them, but they've made the cranks a little shorter. They've set the bike up so much better for that, and the components become a very real part of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shorter cranks, for example, you can keep a lower bottom bracket and have a great lower center of gravity as you're, ripping through a turn at speed, especially a bermed turn, and feel that you have that stability.
Right.
planted feeling and yet clear rocks and be able to do technical sections of trail with no problems.
Right.
And that's something that didn't really exist in the old days. You had to watch your cranks and your pedals, right? And have it train rocks and kick that back and then lean forward and try to get past it, or you were smacking roots and rocks and flying off your bike.
Right.
So that's changed a lot too. And of course, we could go all the way to the extreme, Axis and DI to all the electronic
stuff, right?
All of that. And it's fun. It's amazing. It works so well.
Mm-hmm.
The new transmission, how the rear derailleur no longer mounts to a hanger that flexes and makes shifting not quite as crisp. And certainly, for years we've said you can't really shift under a load. So make sure you back off your load when you go to shift. Even if you're already on a hill, you need to back it off a little bit.
Sure.
It's not going to work well.
Right.
You're going to pull apart your tape, or you're going to bend something. And
you're just going to make a lot of noise and sound like an amateur.
Yes. Yes. And now with the transmission by SRAM, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I've heard it actually performs better under load.
That's just going to
say, if you back off, it's not as good.
It's just better on heavy load, and it's like, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, that level of the technology is costly, right? But I'm not being pathetic or anything, but I foresee a day when, already we don't sell a single bike right now, Joel, that does not have disc brakes.
Mm-hmm.
And people, when disc brakes were first coming out, they were like, oh, well, that'll be a high-end option or whatever.
Right.
And in a relatively short amount of time, they're all disc brakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the advancements and all of that will grow.
Right. Yeah, and the cost will come down as part of that.
It will become more standard and mainstay, and and the experience. A lot of people say, well, do I need electronic shifting? And I say, well, no, it's not a need. It's definitely a want,
mm-hmm.
but it is awesome. You don't have to adjust your derailleurs. You don't have to adjust cables.
Right.
It's kind of one and done.
It's a lot cleaner.
Forever. Now, if you smack your derailleur or, crash and do something, then that needs to be adjusted. But
mm-hmm.
for the most part, it is perfect shifting every time, every ride, every situation.
Right.
So it's pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. I think we nailed all the components then, didn't we?
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot that's happened. Like I said, I liked your scenario because I thought, gosh, there's so much that's happened, and it's made it all the better.
Sure.
Right? I think as people like you are training people how to ride, and people are learning the differences between modernized bikes and quality bikes versus everything else, they not only have a much better experience, but they go, wow, there is a big difference.
Right.
I'm doing a lot better with this better bike because you're not fighting all those things.
Sure.
So
my listeners want to get a hold of you with additional questions or learn more about what you've got in your shop and how you can help. How do we find you?
Well, I think the best thing to do is come in and see us, right? Now our website's the Bike Shoppe, shoppe.com. Social media on Facebook and on Instagram. We do some. I need to do better with that. But we will post stuff that we've got going on there, and a lot of our guys will post that stuff. But I wish people would come in, and when you said to promote yourself, your guys, I feel really lucky, Joel. We have a lot of great employees.
You've got an incredible team. Yes.
We do. We have a lot of great guys. What I love the very most about all of them is how passionate they are about cycling.
Mm-hmm.
Not just working here, but they love it. Most of our guys are avid riders. they're excited about riding, whether they're a NICA kid racing mountain bikes or an older person like me wandering on bikes, gravel, bike packing, road biking. So I'm really lucky. We have great guys and usually are very eager to talk to somebody, especially somebody new, and get them comfortable with all there is to learn. And when we really try to focus, Joel, on not being pushy salespeople, not trying to tell people what they need and what they should do with us, but to listen to their concerns and to find out what it is they're wanting to do. Well, I want to get back into it. Let me give you a lot of information, and you can make a good decision based upon those things. So I'm lucky to work with great people, and like I said earlier, I still love what I do. So it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun to come to work.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we'll have to get you back on another show. We'll pick a couple of these changes and maybe dive in a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, I really am grateful for what you're doing. I think that's the difference in any industry is people with passion that do it, that promote it, right?
Right.
A rising tide raises all boats, right?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, that's another lap around the bike park for Aging on Dirt. I hope you've learned something and or found this entertaining. Most importantly, go out and apply what you've learned so you can experience more joy on your bike. Remember, Joel wants your input. What topics and or guests do you want to hear? Reach out to him where you're listening to the podcast, on Facebook, or find his email/phone on his coaching website, jzmtb.com. Until next time, have fun and be safe out there.